What will be the scope of the PACE delegation, and what will its observers be focusing on specifically during the elections?
The task of the international observer is simply that. It is to come to observe the elections at the invitation of the host government and to write a careful report on what we have witnessed, which must be evidence-based and not just judgmental. So I anticipate that the OSCE report, of which the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe is a key part, I anticipate that this report will be out fairly soon after the election, and it will detail the observations that we have made during election day and the knowledge that our long-term observers have acquired in the weeks leading up to the election. We've monitored several elections here, and I believe and hope that our input so far has been beneficial to the system in terms of assisting, helping, for example, advance the electoral code, in helping, for example, give maybe what some would call fairer treatment with the media for political parties. In the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe and in OSCE generally, we run under very carefully described rules. So we know exactly where we're coming, what we're looking for, how we observe it. We all do exactly the same thing. We fill in the same forms, and therefore, at the end of the election day, we will have a huge body of comprehensive, detailed knowledge arising directly from our own personal involvement. We are what is called short-term observers as politicians. We're all coming from our own countries, we're coming from our own political environments, and so we're bringing that knowledge with us. We know how much elections matter, both to the electorate and to our election colleagues here in all political parties, because we politicians go through exactly the same thing at home. We win, we lose, we fight, we fall, we start again. We know exactly what political colleagues here are going through of all types and sizes. And we also, because we have our own electorates, we know very well indeed what the electorate wants, what it demands, and how to assist in that process. Our long-term observers are very highly qualified, seasoned professionals. And they are professionals in different aspects of elections, the law, the practicalities, the voter register, all those sorts of things. We bring true experts, and those experts, OSCE experts in this case, have been here for some weeks, and they've been analyzing all the time exactly what they've been picking up and seeing and reading and witnessing. And so we begin short-term observers with a huge plus, that vast body of knowledge to which our own observation is added. And the combination of all of that produces what we hope will be a constructive, productive, and helpful report.
You were part of the 2007 EU mission for observing the elections. In terms of the pre-election assessment, are there noticeable differences between now and the findings then?
Certainly, my very strong recollection of 2007 informs me that there have been tremendous progress in technical terms since then. It's clear that people have been doing a lot of work. The electoral code, for example, and the gathering together of quite a large number of the different political elements to look carefully at some of the problems that were encountered in 2008, for example. I'm pleased to see that there has been serious, really detailed progress, and I'm absolutely delighted to see that. I highly valued the chance of being a part of an OSCE mission here several years ago, and that's why I was so delighted to be invited to come again. Armenia is a very important country, not just for Armenians, but for an enormous number of people, the diaspora, of course, but also for those countries which host and take now proudly as citizens so many millions of your former Armenian citizens who still have their Armenian bloodline. Our immediate past health minister in London, in the UK, for example, of Armenian heritage. And there are many, many, many professionals like him in high positions in countries, including the United Kingdom and others. So we all feel close to Armenia and want to help.
There is, as you must know, an element of mistrust during each election in Armenia. There's already been discussion in public forums that the results have been predetermined and the parties have already come to a power-sharing agreement. Do you think this concern is in any way valid, or is it simply fatalistic?
I can make this comparison. Of course, I was here for a short time in Armenia, and although I visited a number of times subsequently, nonetheless, naturally, my views are not those of an expert, they are those of a politician. And as I have said, I feel that there has been tremendous progress. A number of steps have been taken that appear to have been secured and positions enhanced. And so I wait to see whether that is a correct assumption, and will not be able to judge that until election day actually happens. And of course afterwards, looking back at how the election has gone, analysing subsequently here over the next 12 months or so, will be enormously important. And I'm sure there will be many analysts who will be picking everything to bits and putting it together in different shapes and forms and telling us all what really happened. But I feel that certainly in comparison with what I witnessed before, which was good, changes have been made that I believe are positive and beneficial, that are procedural changes, which is what I was looking for earlier.
What is your personal prediction for the outcome of elections Monday morning, May 7th? Will Armenian citizens see a new, dramatically different National Assembly in your opinion?
Deo volente. I believe so. I hope so. But you have to remember that as a politician, I'm always an optimist. That's what we politicians are. We're always looking for beneficial change, as well as for enhancing what has been inherited from previous generations. So I will keep my fingers crossed. We can't tell. And of course it depends upon the citizen, how they choose to vote, whether they're comfortable with the process, whether they feel they've had the required amounts of secrecy, whether they're confident that the process is clean and it's been adequately controlled. It is the citizen judgment that at the end of the day is the only really important one. We outsiders can come and help and do our best, but I would suggest on Monday morning you ask the citizens of Armenia precisely how they felt about their own electoral experience. They're much more important than us.